Hello and welcome to Heat Geek. Today we have a particularly special podcast. We're joined by a potentially familiar face to you, Greg Jackson from Octopus. Hello, Greg.
Hey, Adam. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, thanks for attending our stand installer show where we're doing these podcasts. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. But honestly, I'm really blown away by what you're doing here. It's really impressive.
Appreciate that. Thank you very much. Much the same to you. What's going on at Octopus? Any sort of announcements? And also, how did you do that? Where's it from? Where's the idea?
Octopus in general?
Yeah.
Yeah, look, we'll get to announcements later, shall we? So, Octopus in general. First of all, I joined Greenpeace when I was 15. I genuinely care about climate change, all right? I've run businesses. I've been an entrepreneur since I was in my 20s. In fact, I'd even dabbled in my teens.
What was your first business?
The very first was writing video games.
Oh, wow.
Not very successful. I went to university afterwards. But then I run a company that manufactured mirrors. I run a company that did direct mail. I think, all of them, I would say, more of a businessman, but an entrepreneur. And I think the most significant prior to this was one which built enterprise software. And so when we sold that, I had the opportunity to think, which sector do I want to be in? And you could see that energy as a sector globally, it's a $2 trillion sector. And it had to change to handle climate change. You can see that, the way that renewables work, the decarbonisation of transport, decarbonisation of heat, we're all going to change this sector. And it was held back because it all runs on platform software that's 2, 3, 4 decades old.
Yes.
So we set out to build software to change that. But we spoke to utilities around the world, and they said someone had to do it first. So we built Octopus as the demo client. And so today, we've got two businesses. We've got Kraken, which is the software business, and Octopus, which you know. Actually, we licensed Kraken to many of the companies in the UK, EDF, E.ON, Good Energy. Other bits of Kraken we licensed to be like SSE Network. So, we work with an enormous number of companies that people think of as competitors.
Right.
Because we see our job as being, how do you enable the fastest possible decarbonisation?
Yes.
And, it's kind of like, the first thing you have to do is say, there are many things we can do that help each other drive the change we need. 95% of the market in heat pumps, for example, is white space. When it gets down to the last 5%, maybe we'll have to fight about it. But on the way, what we've got to do is fight the real competitors, which are fossil fuels.
Octopus are obviously probably the biggest disruptor at the moment. I definitely think Heat Geek are a disruptor. For me, I just see complication in current processes for installing heat pumps. Very obvious what needs doing, and I don't know if you sort of viewed Octopus in the same way. But one thing I would like to say, and just reflecting on that, every Octopus install that's ever gone out there has resulted in 2, 3, 4, 5 Heat Geek installs. And what you guys have done to agitate the market, we're definitely riding off the back of you. So well done for seeing that and getting that started and having that will.
Oh, thanks, Anna. I was going to say, something I realised is comparison. It's something like Ford. Ford saw the way that with the Model T, they could help make cars a mass market product.
Yes.
And in doing that, they did well. But they also helped spur an entire industry. Because ordinary people could go out and get a Ford Model T, more roads were built, service stations, and in fact, and then all of the support services, garages, mechanics, and many other car manufacturers. So, Ford became a big company, but it's kind of leadership to try and create a mass market enabled many more companies to flourish, and that's kind of our job in heat pumps.
I see totally, and even in different scales. In Heat Geek, I see the same thing. I see it as an ecosystem. So you agitate different parts and you help grow the health of a system. We don't own Heat Geeks. Heat Geeks don't work for us anyway. We support individual Heat Geeks by giving them the things they need to go out and do their best work, and then speak to homeowners in the home while servicing the boiler. Oh, did you know about heat pumps? A more sort of natural way in.
You do really well at that, by the way. I mean,
thank you.
Your work on training and research, design, absolutely exemplary stuff.
Thank you very much. That's very amazing praise to get hear from yourself. Do you think, do you think that you kind of see solutions rather than seeing the barrier and it's kind of simple thing for you, because obviously you're innovating everywhere? Or do you work out an innovation? Like, what's the process of just coming up with new stuff all the time and improving things?
Yeah. You know what? I think it's a bit like if you're going on a long journey, right? I live in London currently, and if I want to drive to, I don't know, like Edinburgh, I kind of know I've got to go north, right? I know broadly speaking, I'm going to have to go up the M1 or the A1 probably. But you know, if there's any traffic jams or roadworks on the way, I might divert a bit. And so what you're really doing all the time is you kind of know the direction.
Interesting.
So here we know that you have to decarbonize heating. We know that. I mean, it's vanishingly unlikely that can be hydrogen. I mean, for a whole pile of reasons, mainly physics and economics, it can't be done. And therefore, the majority of homes will be decarbonised through heat pumps. So we kind of know that's the Edinburgh for this journey, right? And on the way, we're going to discover, you know, things we hadn't expected, and we overcome those. We're also going to discover pleasant surprises. You know, one of the best things for me is just by getting on and doing it. You know, we found that 9 out of 10 people with a heat pump are happy with a heating system. It's only 8 out of 10 with a gas boiler. People prefer it. Right? So we're going to relentlessly improve what we do. As an industry and as a company. But we've got a great start point.
That's it. And you can find other things to improve on and strings tied to the bow along the way, you know, other little adventures that are in line with your kind of goal, right?
Like things like how well it works with smart tariffs. Or, for example, on the way we discovered, you know, like when you're on these long journeys and you spot a nice little place to stop for a rest or a meal, you know, so, zero bills homes, you know. Homes that will literally not have an energy bill because they've got a heat pump and a battery and solar panels.
I think it's like that's basically what's happened in our specific heating industry and probably the energy industry in general. There's just that incumbentness of, our job was done of building a thing. No, we're just cash cow. No, you don't make change. And that sort of entrepreneurial mindset that you obviously naturally possess, more than anyone else probably in the world at the moment, I think it's sad that people become sort of restful in themselves. They think they must be perfect at any one point in time. It should be an ongoing process forever, right? Addressing yourself and looking at your warts that might need.
It's interesting. If you look at the history of humanity, certainly since the Industrial Revolution, in fact, long before that, you know, there's always been innovation. You know, the world has never stopped still. And I think that means that if you don't innovate, and the world keeps moving, essentially you're going backwards. But, you know, more important than that, look, we've got these massive issues in society. So we've got cost of living crisis. We've got, you know, huge societal, you know, culture wars. And we've got, you know, a massive chance of decarbonisation. And I think, like people like us, we can inspire. We can create solutions that people like, that bring people together. Like, even if there is someone out there who doesn't believe in climate change, right? I still want them to have a heat pump or an electric car because they're better devices.
And you can save money. Your local, you're introducing money to the local sort of community if you're using an independent installer, for example. There's so many more benefits to all of the things that we happen to be doing. It just seems like we're just catching up on lost time where that incumbentness prevented the change, essentially.
Also, and when you create markets like this, what we found initially was that the electric vehicle was the gateway drug for all of these technologies. Right? So people get an electric car, they get a smart tariff from Octopus, and then they go like, wow, you know, on Intelligent Octopus, it's 7 times cheaper to drive an electric car than to use diesel or petrol, right? Once you've gone through that mindset, you say, well, what else can I do? And that's when they get solar panels or a heat pump or batteries. And I think now, by the way, collectively, we're driving a world where people want heat pumps. When they get a heat pump, they go like, wow, maybe I should get solar now. And if they get a heat pump from us, they get solar from a local installer. Or, you know, that's great. We're creating the electrification is underway.
I say something very similar. I think that the electric car finally made people or allowed people to put value on carbon. They probably didn't care before. They wanted it for the electric car because it's better, it's faster. And all of a sudden they felt, oh, what's this happy feeling I'm feeling? Oh, I'm doing something good. I value carbon. Oh, where else could I be doing that? And then they see their gas boiler and the net effect.
Doesn't it? Like, I've always, you know, really cared about the environment and climate. But when I first got an electric car and I drove down the road and it was silent. And I realised that silence is because it's not burning stuff. I felt so free.
Yeah.
And that made me want to go on. Like, even though it's my
Do you realise there was that
psychological
obligation in the background? Amazing.
Yeah.
What was it like, just going back, and I know we have to wrap up soon, you joined Greenpeace at 15. Why did you care about the environment at that age? Were your parents into that kind of thing? What was the...
No, it's actually... So, I mean, I was brought up by a single mum, and she had 3 kids and no money. We didn't have a car. And back then, I don't remember, well, you're a lot younger than me. Back then, you could see the kind of soot, the fumes coming out of the back of a lot of cars.
Yeah.
And so we used to walk everywhere. I had a half-hour, 45-minute walk to school when I was young. And you see that come out the back, and you kind of go, well, look, I'm breathing this in, but I'm not getting, like, someone else is getting the benefit.
Yeah.
And in fact, the damage that some people do to others really began to bother me, and it was personal there. But you realise that applies on a global level as well. The richest countries in the world pump the stuff out, and the poorest countries get the downside, and that left me feeling, that something wasn't fair. And then, back then, Greenpeace had this thing where they would be on rubber dinghies and go and climb oil rigs and put banners on them.
Yeah.
And
I remember.
Honestly, I thought if I joined Greenpeace, I thought if I joined Greenpeace, I'd get to do that.
Yeah.
Instead, it was a newsletter and a direct debit. But it doesn't matter. It was the right thing. And there you go.
That's amazing. Greg, you're such an amazing guy. Hopefully we can do more stuff.
In fact, we should talk about that. I think, well, since you and I met, and I talked to a lot of independent installers, and sometimes people think, look, Octopus is building a great big business at the expense of other companies. As you said, you've seen that for every job we do, we create 2, 3, 4, 5 jobs for Heat Geeks, and we do the same for independent installers. And I realised, it'd be good to formalise that. So we're setting up. In fact, today we're launching the Octopus Trusted Partner Program. Heat Geek are a premium partner. And so
Amazing.
Anyone who's a Heat Geek is automatically a member. And there are 2 parts to this. The first is that whenever a customer, an Octopus Trusted Partner introduces a customer to Octopus,
Right.
They'll get a £75 credit to themselves, and the customer will get £50. So it's
Amazing.
50% better than a normal customer referral program. And it's just for trusted partners.
Amazing.
The other one, though, is, I think more important, 9 out of 10 jobs that we generate hundreds of thousands of leads a year, hundreds of thousands for solar, battery, EV charger, and heat pumps. And of course, we're not installing all those. In fact, we probably only do 1 in 10 or something. I don't want customers to get a dead end. I want to hand them on to the best independent installers. And so once people have enrolled in the Octopus Trusted Partner Program, we'll be sending those leads. And by the way, things like if we've done a survey, you'll get the survey. All right. So we're starting that now, and you can go to octopus.energy/Octopus Trusted Partner and sign up.
I mean, that just shows your credibility of actually caring about the mission. They have the amazing backstory to prove it anyway. That could have been made up. It obviously isn't. But this is an amazing example of caring about the problem and actually going for, the real prize. But really, it actually makes business sense as well. Every home that doesn't end up getting a heat pump and ends up getting a gas boiler is one less advocate shouting out about how much better it is and how much money it saves.
Totally.
So thank you very much.
Heat pumps out there.
Amazing.
I should say that, Adam, I think sometimes I speak to politicians, I speak to journalists, I speak to regulators, and I want to be really clear that when I talk to them, that this is the words "green prosperity plan" shouldn't just be a slogan. This is a way of driving economic growth, wealth, and business success throughout the nation. If we don't do that, then we're not delivering a just transition. It's got to be a just transition. It's got to be good for customers. It's also got to be good for every sector of the business economy.
Amazing. We'll wrap this up now. This absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much for the partnership. I need to shake your hand again. Greg,
thank you for your leadership.
Inspiration. Oh, thank you.
Cheers.
Well, that's it, guys. A quick one for this one. An amazing one, obviously. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.
Thank you.